Second race of the weekend, Motorcycling Canterbury Superbikes. We're joined in the commentating tower by Ian Templeton, and also we'll have Reece Holmes, who's a former Superbike rider and a 600 man there as well. Fireworks are plenty. Fireworks are going to happen. This is a 15 lap race. The sun is out. What's the weather like outside? I haven't been allowed outside.
Pretty good.
Doesn't look like it's going to rain in the next 20 minutes. Ready for a start.
Outside of the front row, and great start from Scott Moyer from the second row.
Yeah, definitely. All a good clean start. There's 15 bikes on the track, and Hayden Fitzgerald was the fastest in qualifying. Nick Cole sat out the second half of qualifying yesterday. He was a full half second ahead of anyone else, but he is definitely in the hunt now. In fact, look at Nick Cole on the Red Devil Racing bike. He's down there in 2, 4th, 6th spot, so watch some fireworks. But that would have to be James Smith out in the front, would it? 77, followed by Scotty Moyer, number 87. When he said he had a lap record, it was a bit of a miscalculation there, but the definite thing is he was the fastest man on the track in the race yesterday. Number 9, Hayden Fitzgerald in 3rd place, the local man who won yesterday, the underground brown Suzuki GSX-R1000, Dennis Charlotte, followed by Nick Cole. That looks to me like Ryan Hampton there in the next place down there, followed by Tony Reeves. The bright orange levers of Sloane Frost on the Fujitsu-sponsored TSS Red Baron GSX-R1000, having a naughty word of the weekend, because he's riding with a broken wrist, but still competing there on the beautiful prepared machine. And that Ray Cleve followed by, I think that is, no, I don't even know who that is. As they come into the dipper, it is number 77, James Smith, followed closely a bike length behind Scotty Moyer. The pack of for 3rd, 4th and 5th is led by Dennis Charlotte, the man that led a lot of the race yesterday. Nick Cole is way back in 5th place, but when I say way back, it's going to be a long race, a 15 lapper.
So here we have James Smith coming onto the straight, leading them on, and just about to cross the start finish line now. Dennis Charlotte. And it looks like Dennis is trying to move up the inside into turn 1. And it looks like he might have just pulled that off.
Wow, action aplenty. Hayden Fitzgerald slipped back there into 4th place, and Nick Cole's right on his tail. They're both about the same, matching through the pothole corner here over in the back. You look over by the power belt as they go into the hairpin, and James Smith's got 30 or 40 metres. Dennis Charlotte's trying up on the inside of Scott Moyer, but Scotty Moyer shuts the door. I tell you what, those people have got a grandstand view over there on the hairpin, because Dennis Charlotte is absolutely amazing how he backs his Suzuki GSX-R1000 in there. Plenty of experience. The man's actually a grandfather. He's been around for so long, but plenty of experience, and a couple of times New Zealand champion on the 600 class, and got onto the GSX-R1000 last year. Had his first ever Superbike New Zealand Championship win at Hampton Downs, I think, in the second race. Nick Cole took the first race up there, and Dennis Charlotte come through and got it in the second race. So plenty of experience out of James Smith. Never had a New Zealand Superbike Championship win, nor has Scotty Moyer. Not going to try and put the commentator's curse on it, but what a tight pack out the front. We go back into 5th place, and it's Nick Cole on the Red Devil Racing machine, followed by number 11, Tony Reeves, the man. I called it as being from 54 or 48 yesterday. He's actually 46. He's been racing motorcycles for 300 years, though. So 46-year-old with 300 years of racing motorcycles experience, and a Honda dealer up there from the Bay of Plenty. So he's there in 6th spot. We're looking out there. James Smith opened up the gap there.
Just making a pass into turn 1, so that pulled him up in 2nd place against Scott Moyer. And that leading pack of 5 is starting to close up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. They'll all be on slicks out here. The weather conditions, for those who have been watching us this morning, has the bright sun's come out. It's not as hot as previous years, and the tight 5 going there. Dennis Charlotte there in 2nd place. Scotty Moyer closes up under it on brakes, but these guys are all of equal ability, and it's going to be a hell of a fight all the way to the end, I'm sure. Sloane Frost looks like he's come through. Yes, indeed he has. He's made the big pass on Lyndon McGee on the BMW M1 S1000R. So Sloane Frost is coming through there now. He's napping on the heels of number 11. Now, where the hell's Craig Sheriff's out there? Craig had a not a very good day yesterday. There he is right off the back there with keeping up with the points, and they had a big crash here in practice on the Friday, but unfortunately he didn't have a good run yesterday. Don't have the results right at the hand at the moment, but he's in last position at the moment. Nick Cole going up on the inside, and Hayden Fitzgerald, he's starting to hunt the leaders. Nick Cole passes up there. What a brave move there, but a good clean move. Don't discount Hayden out there. Hayden is a legend on this bike, fastest in the qualifying for the Superbikes yesterday. Ian Templeton, who you reckon?
Oh, I'm not going to make a call today. I made a call yesterday and got it totally wrong. So I'm going to leave it up to the racers to sort it out on the track. But James Smith, he's pulling a good gap there. He's got maybe 50, 60 metres, maybe even a bit more than that ahead of Dennis Charlotte. And, I was looking for a pass there into turn 1, but didn't quite manage it. Oh, no, down goes Scotty Moore. Scotty Moore down in turn 1. That's
he's up okay on the machine. That's all right. I'll tell you who the fastest man on the track in there. It is the man in number 2 spot at the moment, following a wheelie there, coming out of pothole, and it is Dennis Charlotte. We're just going to get Rhys Holmes to grab the microphone for a minute there, and Rhys being out there in a... All right, not even sure whether it's on.
Hey there, guys. Now, it looks like Dennis is on a mission.
Give me the earpiece, mate. Sorry, buddy, we've just got to be people. We've just got a little bit of a problem there with the microphone. We're going over to Rhys Holmes shortly. We'll look out there, and it still is James Smith, the man. He's only had this bike less than a month. He rode an older 2008 model in the Suzuki series up at Hampton Downs. Had this bike at Manfield. Didn't shine very well at Manfield, and he's coming through there and certainly leading this race. He tends to fade at the end of the race, or is that just my observation?
No, he definitely is stronger at the start. It's a long race, 15 laps. It's a long way around here. It's a pretty difficult track and very technical. And I'd have to say, it looks like Dennis and Nick are both going hard after him. They'll be on him, I'd say.
So Nick Cole, the fastest man on the track on the Driven-sponsored Racing Lawrence Day sponsored machine. So Nick Cole led the race for a while yesterday. He's put in a 1:30.716. We've got Dennis Charlotte with 1:30.849 and James Smith 1:31.380. So I predicted that James would slow, or are these other guys just getting quicker? The gap was probably 200 metres there, maybe 150 metres in the last lap. It's closing right down. Dennis Charlotte, where do you think he's going to get him? Rhys Holmes has run in the 600 class. He's also done superbikes a couple of seasons ago, so an experienced competitor out here. Where do you think Dennis Charlotte's going to hunt this man down, or could it be anywhere?
I'd say turn 1 or into the hairpin. Dennis's bike is very strong out of pothole, and he is strong in there too. You can turn it very tight, and it just jumps out of the corner. So I would say the next lap that he'll be having a look. He's right on the back of him now. And I'd say he'll drag Nick and Hayden along too.
Okay, early race, second place. Scotty Moore unfortunately went off at turn 1. The important thing, he's upright, so there it is. They're going into the dipper at the moment. We're going to change back to Ian Templeton. Thank you, Rhys. We'll get back to you in a minute. We've only got a couple of mics here, so I'll swap them from Ian Templeton. There's a difference in machinery out there. We've got a Honda, we've got a Suzuki, and we've got a Kawasaki in the top 3. Any edges you could see, being a mechanical a pit boy, or pit man, where do you see the differences? Look at the take. Dennis Charlotte, yes, Dennis Charlotte comes through there and takes it by 5 thousandths of a second, 5 thousandths of a second. So it is Dennis Charlotte going through there on James Smith, and Nick Cole still sitting there in third spot with Hayden Fitzgerald, so changes are plenty, and Dennis is going to disappear with us maybe.
Yeah, Dennis has got his head down now. He knows that the race is more than half distance.
Oh, look at that, James Smith run off the track. That's a big place to run off, but he is okay. James Smith out of the race, so let's concentrate on the other 3. The main thing is James is upright. That's a bummer.
That is a hugely fast place to run off the track there. James is looking down at the front end of the bike, so he might have a little mechanical or a technical problem with the front end, which has caused him to run off there, which is very disappointing for James. I can see him sitting on the tyre wall there, looking very dejected. But going back to the leaders, with Dennis Charlotte in the front and Nick Cole in second place, I think Dennis is pulling a bit of a break on Nick, to be honest.
She's a sandwich of tyres here. It's Pirelli in first on the Suzuki, Pirelli in third on the Suzuki, and Nick Cole's running Metzler slicks as well, so I don't know how much of a game changer that'll be, but certainly we had 3 different brands there earlier on. Maybe you got the commentator's curse when I asked for the technical advice on the differences in the machine, and the Honda disappeared. We've now got the 2 there. Do you think the Kawasaki's quicker in places than the Suzuki, or vice versa, Ian Templeton?
I think the Suzuki has the punch coming out of the corners, but it looks like when they're in the mid part of the corner, the Kawasaki seems to have a really good side grip. So I think Dennis might have a slight advantage in horsepower over Nick, but Nick's certainly got the grip mid-corner, so we'll be looking for Nick to pick up his pace through the more open sections, for example, turn 1, leaders, and sweep along to the straight.
So Nick Cole's still the fastest man in the track, but the gap looks like it's been opening up on the back, and Hayden Fitzgerald is starting to get on the back of Nick Cole, so not too sure what's going on here. You can all see it in front of us. If you're watching live, if you're watching that hairpin, you watch Dennis Charlotte back into there. You watch all the boys back into there. Actually, they're quite styly at it. Those watching in the distance, Dennis Charlotte's probably got about 80 metres. There's about maybe 10, maybe about 8 or 9 metres between second and third. That's Nick Cole on bike number 5 and Hayden Fitzgerald, bike number 6. They were 5th and 6th in the New Zealand Championships last year. The championship was run by Robbie Bugden. And, hang on, we got it there. And Craig Shuris was 2nd in the championship. Dennis was 3rd, Sloan 4th, and Nick Cole in 5th, followed by Hayden Fitzgerald. Ryan Hampton in 7th spot. Ryan's out there somewhere. In fact, where is Ryan Hampton? Yeah, he's out there in 8th spot. Had a bit of a crash yesterday. So, right on the track at the moment. You can see what's out in the front. The gap is closed up now. The gap has closed up, so Dennis Charlotte may have lost a bit of time, or the other boys have cleared it up. So we'll run through. Dennis Charlotte, Nick Cole, Hayden Fitzgerald, Sloan Frost, Tony Rees, Lyndon McGee on the M1 Motorsport BMW S1000R. Says he just needs more track time. He's getting at the moment, moving up through the pack. Ray Clee, Ryan Hampton, Jaden Hassan, a man that broke his just a few weeks ago on this bike. So good solid showing. Aaron Scott, David Halls ahead of Craig Shuris on the track. James Smith, Scotty Moore, no start for Phil Lovett. Unfortunately, the Australian let a P on the Kawasaki. Not too sure what's going on there, but pretty far two people out, and that's James Smith and Scotty Moore. The important thing is Scotty Moore is upright. So looking out there at the front there, Mr. Templeton, what's happening there?
We've got Dennis Charlotte. He's holding a steady gap back to Nick Cole, who's also maintaining station ahead of Hayden Fitzgerald. But I've got to give huge raps to Sloan Frost, commonly known as Chop around the pits. Sloan's riding with a broken wrist today, and he's up into 4th place, so that is an amazing effort from the man.
Okay, who's in behind him there? It was Lyndon McGee. Do you think Lyndon can catch him? But yeah, I'll tell you what, Chopper's a hard bastard.
Well, Lyndon's riding Chopper's bike from last year, so Chopper knows all the tricks on that bike, so he'll be aware of what's going on behind him, and he'll just be looking for the places where he knows that BMW is stronger, and he'll be defending through those areas and making the most of the horsepower of the Suzuki on the exits.
A little bit of tail end wobble there from Nick Cole as they're coming through the infield. Hayden Fitzgerald's coming right on. He might see there might be a tyre deterioration issue coming along there, or a suspension setting, but I just noticed that Nick Cole's bike was wallowing. He's still the fastest man in the truck. We're watching them come around the sweeper onto the front straight. 15 lap races, 8 laps to go. It closes right up to about 2 bike lengths. It's Dennis Charlotte on the underground brown Suzuki GSXR 1000. Comes across the start finish line. Hayden Fitzgerald, don't rule Hayden Fitzgerald there. Got a 2nd in the New Zealand Grand Prix at Ruapuna here not about 3 or 4 years ago. So don't rule him out there. 4th place here. What a ride that was from Sloan Chopper Frost on the Fujitsu Suzuki GSXR 1000 on Pirellis, and then Lyndon McGee seems to hunting him down. Lyndon's sort of closing in. Tony Rees out there. Tony also followed closely by Ray Clee, Ryan Hampton, Jaden Hassan. We're looking over on the back on one of the favourite corners of Ruapuna for myself and many people is the hairpin. This is where a lot of the action happens, and you can. Oh, we had some interesting crashes over the years. Remember, Robbie Bugden was leading the race and tipped it up over there. Pretty sure was leading a race, and
that's right.
Yeah, well, that's you can gain a lot on the. On that corner, but you can also lose a hell of a lot, including a championship. So they're closing round into the carousel, the Nana's carousel.
And here comes Nick Cole. He's winding up. He's looking to close that gap down on Dennis Charlotte. He's let Dennis lead for a little bit, but I think he's sick of sitting in 2nd place.
He specialises in passing where he's coming out now, but doesn't quite have the drive. He'll set it up outside the Nana's carousel there on the big, full sweeping left-hander. And the right-hander, sorry, then on the next rider, and he likes to get the drive out of there and shut people down in the next corner, but hasn't quite got it there at the moment. There's not quite enough room. They're going into the big sweeper, coming onto the front straight. There's maybe 6 bike lengths between the Suzuki GSXR 1000, the Avon City Suzuki Underground Brown Pirelli tyre shod machine, also sponsored by Silverhorn Energy Plus, RS2 and a few other people. Right now we'll look at the track, and
Hayden Fitzgerald's closing. Hayden Fitzgerald will lunge up the inside. He's not going to make it work there, but he's definitely got the pressure on Nick Cole now, and Nick will know that he's there and coming, so he knows that he has to put his head down and really go for it now. But looking at Dennis Charlotte accelerate out of turn 1 up the pothole, he's got a little bit of a gap. He's really got his head down.
Oh, definitely. Now, I've just been trying. Here we go. Hayden Fitzgerald up on the inside of the Kawasaki of Nick Cole. That was almost too easy. That was almost too. Holds it tight coming out too. So a good clean pass there. And Hayden Fitzgerald, mate, I was just driven to his sponsors and even just going through my own memory and wondering when the last time he come off a motorcycle. I can't remember the last time this man crashed. Mr. Consistency, never had a New Zealand Superbike Championship win. It looks like this may be on the plate from now. And of course the New Zealand Grand Prix is coming up later on. But Dennis Charlotte takes it inside. Nick Cole will be on fire because he'll want that second place back because he'll want to get up there. They all want first place. Here we go. Charlotte, 2 bike lengths, 3 bike lengths to Hayden. To 1.5 with that back to Nick Cole. Nick Cole on the Red Devil Racing sponsored machine, also sponsored by Just Fairings, Auckland Steel Blasters, Motor Bike Trans, F1 Engineering, that's Steve Bridges' company. Lawrence Day, now those that don't know Lawrence Day, nobody does. He's just a man who loves motorcycling, no business or anything. He comes along and he helps out this team. And 3 generations usually in the pits of the Cole team at the moment. Unfortunately, the wife... what's happened this year, not unfortunately or anything, but what's happened this year is the wife, Rachel, Nick's wife, Rachel, and 2 kids decided to stay home while we come down to South Island. So we'll be watching at home on CTS Lifetime, and they'll be cheering for Daddy, so will a lot of other people. And I'll tell you who'll be cheering for Granddaddy is some of Dennis Charlotte's offspring. A recent addition to the family. Emma was born about July, and he's also got younger...
Gerald on the brakes round the outside. That is a huge move. Extremely brave move there, and he holds the corner speed and takes first place. That is an amazing move from Hayden Fitzgerald, and just shows the class and riding skill that the man actually has.
This is a game changer. I never discounted him. He was the fastest in qualifying now. Of those 3 people, Hayden's never won a New Zealand Superbike Championship race in the Superbike level, won the Formula 3 here, ultralight class yesterday. Dennis has won 1, he won at Hampton Downs last year. Nick Cole's won 2, he won at Hampton Downs last year and won at Invercargill a couple of years ago. So the experience is there, they're all hungry. This is the podium, hopefully everyone keeps it clean. Still 5 laps to go, still 5 laps of a 15 lap to go. And remember, here we go, there's another bit of a dice coming on for the hard charger, Sloane Foster's Lyndon McGee from Australia on the BMW M1. Pirelli shod machine, the Valvoline sponsored machine is right on the tail of Sloane Frost. He runs it a little bit wide, almost into the grass, camping out there, and Tony Rees in a good solid 6th spot. So they're coming across the start-finish line.
Dennis Charlotte takes the lead over Hayden Fitzgerald. Now let's see who's the bravest on the brakes into turn 1. It is Dennis Charlotte, who takes a clean pass over Hayden Fitzgerald with Nick Cole in 3rd place, Sloane Frost in 4th place, and Lyndon McGee in 5th. So the racing is fast and furious here today, and here comes Nick Cole having a wee look. He can't quite get it done through pothole, but he's definitely having a look, and he's got the run on. Has he got the power? No, the Suzuki just pulls away down to the hairpin.
Almost looked like he missed a gear there. Didn't lose a lot, but it almost looked like, you know, he just sort of slowed up a little bit, so not too sure what's going on there. But meanwhile, Charlotte's consolidating that lead. He's led most of the race, if not all of the race, and Hayden Fitzgerald poked his nose in there. He'll know he's just up in the ante. If we look at lap times, Nick Cole is still the fastest man on the track. Most of the people have set their fastest lap in lap 4 and 5, so we're on lap 11. So right now it's a 1:31.670 for Nick Cole. A little bit quicker is 1:31.558 for Hayden Fitzgerald. Nothing really in it. And the slowest man of those 3 is Dennis Charlotte on a 1:31.793. We said that Scotty Moyer had got a lap record yesterday. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of an error in the timing system or the result, so the lap record is in the 49s. Here comes Lyndon McGee on the tail of Sloane Frost, and we're just going to change the earpiece over and get a bit of an expert opinion there from the man from Caddy. He was just a man a few weeks ago, we heard, but okay, you're a BMW rider, you know the tricks of the trade on the BMW. Sloane Frost is on a Suzuki, and Lyndon McGee's on the BMW. Where's the advantages of these 2 bikes around the track?
Well, they're pretty even. I would say the BMW is definitely stronger under brakes. It's more stable and it's got more powerful brakes. The Suzuki's very strong off the corner and handles quite nicely. Sloane has a lot of mid-corner speed, but I'd say his wrist's holding him back a little bit. I'd have to say he'd normally be a little bit further up. Now,
he's had a couple of New Zealand Superbike Championships as well, so he's got the ability to be right up here in the front. Unfortunately today, well, not unfortunately too much, it's just the way it is. He's riding there with carrying a little bit of injury. Sorry, Reese Holmes?
I'd have to say Lyndon looks like he's coming up on him, but I'm not sure where he's going to pass Sloane, to be honest. it's going to be pretty hard work. I'd be picking it at the end of the main straight. Under brakes would be my pick, but Sloane's probably holding him up slightly a little bit. Now back to the front here. Dennis has got a little bit of a gap. You'll notice Hayden's holding very good corner speed, but Dennis is his bike's definitely a little bit stronger. So Hayden's going to have his work cut out to beat Dennis, because he's definitely got the power advantage, and he's quite a little guy as well, which definitely helps.
All right, back in action. Nick Cole still the fastest man on the track according to lap times. We see Dennis Charlotte has opened up the lead there. What a flyer he got there. Hayden Fitzgerald went through in second place across the line, I think. But
Nick's
Nick
just
Cole
passed him
wound
on the
him up
inside.
incredibly. So Nick Cole back on fire again there. So Dennis Charlotte, I don't know. They've all got lip
I think
time.
Hayden's got a problem. He's dropping back quite a bit.
Oh, that's tough for the new Plymouth sign rider. 28 years old, looking for his first Superbike Championship win. Looks like he may have a problem there. Hopefully that keeps him on the podium. Hopefully he can keep on going there and just back off a little bit.
And here comes Lyndon McGee. He's right on Sloane, and he's trying to go around the outside, and it looks like he's going to do it.
That's it to happen.
Oh, yes, he's done it. He's just passed him up the inside, and looks like he's made a little bit of a gap, so I don't think he'll have to block Sloane into here.
So McGee was, he was running 8th, 9th in the Suzuki series and moving up the fields a little bit. I think he won a Bears race there along the line and got some more track time in that. I don't know, we could even, it depends on the situation with Hayden Fitzgerald bike, it's definitely slowing enough to mean that he could be under threat. We've got just 2 laps to go, so unless something really bad goes along with Hayden's bike, Lyndon McGee won't cut it. But look at Sloane Frost.
Sloane's not giving up either. He's holding on to him, and he'll be keen to pass it back. There's a fair bit of rivalry there, being that former bikes, and Sloane tried to go around the outside then. BMW is pumping a little bit out of the corkscrew.
I know son Nixon will be watching in Eastbourne and Wellington, and with the wife Lexi. They didn't choose to come down here this year, but they'll be watching online. They'll be pumping for this, so hopefully, well, not hopefully, we've got a good race here. Sloane seems to be speed down the front straight, but looking out to the leaders now.
He's just pulled off. He's just pulling off now, so there's definitely an issue with his bike.
Bugger, that's a bit sad, especially now that the white flag is out. The white flag is out. We go look there. Big wheelie for Dennis Charlotte coming out of pothole. I'm looking through to the next booth, and he's one of his major sponsors, Tony Brown from Underground Brown's got his eyes there, but he knows the race is not won until such time as they cross the finish line. So we're looking out in second place there. No problem there in second place for Nick Cole. He'd rather be in first place, but no problem there at the moment. The big dice is on for third place between Lyndon McGee there coming out of the hairpin, and Sloane Frost. BMW versus Suzuki. Pirelli versus Pirelli. No difference in that one there. Reece Holmes, what do you think?
I think Sloane's pretty hungry, and he knows the track well. He'll be keen to pass him. Into the right-hander would be my pick. He's trying to line it up.
That was also Ian Templeton's pick as well. Ian Templeton's sitting in the corner, and he's the man with the technical knowledge.
No, he can't get it done. The other place he could look is into the dipper, but he isn't quite close enough. He isn't quite close enough, unfortunately.
Looking for the run to the straight. Looking over in the back there at Craig Sheriff is still upright, but at the end
here comes Dennis, and he's going to do it.
Second win for the weekend. Nick Cole and the big Red Devil Kawasaki. He'll be a little bit disappointed, but it's still solid points. The race for third.
Lyndon McGee. I'd say Lyndon's got it. That BMW's not going to get past.
Good race to finish. Good on Sloane and good on Lyndon, and he passes him going off the end of the front straight, but that doesn't count. Good
result from Tony Rees.
Tony Rees through there.
Right, but a very good result. And there's a little bit battle going on here. It's between...
There's Hassan amongst that. That's Blakely, Hassan, and the local Mendon. So that's three.
Oh, there's a hard pass back there by Craig.
Sheriffs. Doesn't want to get last on the track. No offence to that, but doesn't want to get last. I don't know what's going on there. Hope he hadn't chosen wets. He's had a bit of difficulty over here at Ruapuna over the years. Had 3 years in the first round where he just had a DNF. Silly little thing like
something wrong. He is going to make it.